Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call our January 2024 Delaware County Council meeting to order. We'd all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill, could we have you start it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could ask you all to please keep standing. We lost a very important member of our Delaware County family just recently, so if we could take a moment to recognize Marta Moody, that'd be great. Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Present.
Mr. Hughes.
Present.
Mr. Cantz.
Here.
Ms. Lassiter.
Here.
Mr. Webb.
Here.
Mr. Whitehead.
Present.
Ms. Piper.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here.
All right. So just a friendly reminder, questions from the public may be directed at any time to all of us county council members. You can find our email addresses on the county website, and you can also message us at countycouncildist@co.delaware.in.us. Again, that's countycouncildist@co.delaware.in.us. Denise, was the agenda posted?
Yes.
Great. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Great. Now I'll entertain an approval of the January 2nd council meeting.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Matt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, and we will move on to our transfer agenda.
Okay, starting out in County General, Commissioners 153, 139, Human Resource Assistant, negative 29,807.57. A 139, Human Resource Assistant, positive 29,807.57. B 112, Human Resource Secretary, negative $35,078.52. C 112, Human Resource Secretary, positive $35,078.52. C Veteran Officer, negative $32,555 even. D Veteran Officer, positive $32,555 even. A Executive Administrator, negative $39,800.20. B Executive Administrator, positive $39,800.20. C Veteran Assistant, negative $28,802 even. D Veteran Assistant, positive $28,802 even. A Weight and Measures Inspector, negative $36,135 even. B Weight and Measures Inspector, positive $36,135 even. Total transfer 0.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. This had a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee on Thursday, and for the most part, it looks like it's all just rearranging of employees. Does anyone have any questions for Pam?
I have a quick question, please.
Knew you would, Ryan. Why did I know that?
I like to stay consistent. So, Ms. Pam, it's like a little bit of movement in the HR office. Number one, are these employees still employed within Delaware County
Yes, they
somewhere
are.
else?
Mhm.
And secondly, have they been replaced yet?
We have 2 replaced in my office, and we're still doing interviews for the commissioner's executive assistant.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It wasn't too bad, was
That
it?
wasn't bad.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Laster,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Ms. Flanagan,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Okay, Communications, 124. B, 113, Communication Tech, negative $40,000. C, 113, Communication Tech, positive $40,000. G, 123, Communication Tech, negative $40,000. H, 123, Supervisor, positive $40,000. Total transfer is 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Again, a favorable recommendation from our Finance Committee, and again, employees rearranging. Any questions for Fred?
I have a quick question, Fred. Is this part of that reshuffling like you were speaking about before we met?
Yeah,
Just
it's-
rearrangement of your employees?
the first one is just a transfer for somebody that left. The second one is changing the dispatcher position to a supervisor position. There's money involved in that that's under appropriations later on, but I have to get this step approved first.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Any further questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Laster,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Okay, Jail, 145. D, 123, Correctional Officer, negative $38,166. E, 123, Correctional Officer, positive $38,166 for a total transfer of 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. Again, a favorable recommendation from Finance and just a movement of employees. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Laster,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
Okay, under Other, Adult User Fees, 2,100. We have A, 125, Probation Officer, negative $8,243. B, 125, Probation Officer, positive $8,243. Total transfer, 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Again, approved, a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee and just a movement of employees. Have any questions?
I just want to clarify, this odd number, this is just a portion of that employee's salary, correct?
Yeah, so
used by user fees.
let me explain this. So during budget last year, I did not move a line item or transfer a line item for the employee. So last year, during a transfer of an employee's salary, we did not use the probation user fee portion.
Okay.
So we have to use it this year, and I didn't transfer it, so I'm just transferring it now.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Laster,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
Okay, next is Jail Lowett, 1170, 145 Department. The first one, we have D, 111, Correctional Officer, negative $38,166. E, 111, Correctional Officer, positive $297.44. F, 111, Correctional Officer, positive $37,868.56. And E, 112, Correctional Officer, negative $38,166. F, 112, Correctional Officer, positive $38,166, total 0.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Dan. Again, a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee. Do we have any questions on the?
I do.
Oh.
No, go ahead, sir.
Well, it's different than what we saw. We didn't get to see what's the
where's the breakout of the E11 and F11, the 297 and the 30?
Someone stayed long enough to get through
That's what I
a
was
little bit
gonna
of training, decided this wasn't for them, and left. So I had to pay them out there, then move to a new line for another new hire, and that's what was left.
Gotcha.
And Matt asked what I was gonna ask, so I have no further questions.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Highway 1176. We have E127, truck driver, negative $42,804. F127, truck driver, positive $42,804 for a total of 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by, was that Eugene?
Yes.
Again, another favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee and a movement of an employee. Do we have any additional questions?
I don't have any-
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You tell Tommy and all your guys to be safe out there plowing for the storm. That they are.
All right, moving on.
Okay, next is the addendums. Under County General, we have the clerk in Department 125. We have E119, deputy clerk, negative $33,466. F119, deputy clerk, positive $33,466, total 0.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. Get another favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee, just moving an employee. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Treasurer 127. We have E106, assistant cashier 1, negative $31,836.52. F106, assistant cashier 1, positive $31,836.52. C107, assistant cashier 2, negative $29,109.14. D107, assistant cashier 2, positive $29,109.14, total 0.
Motion to approve. Second. Go ahead, Mr. Hughes.
Motion by Eugene, second by Bill. Again, another favorable recommendation from Finance Committee, moving some employees. Do we have any questions?
I do have a quick question. Mr. Pope, well, the assistant cashier too, I know you're fairly new in your role. Is that a full-time position?
It is,
It is?
yes.
Is that, have they already been paid summer of this year? Or is that for the full year salary, that 29,000?
There has been some paid out on that, yes, because we're just moving people up in the office.
Okay.
and moving around to replace.
I was just curious, because I didn't think we had anyone under 30,000 anymore. That 29 jumped out at me, so that's what all I wanted to double check.
Part of that has been paid out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I would just like to introduce my chief deputy. I know you guys have probably not met her yet, Kathy Butterfield. She has worked in the office, and she was just moved up as Ed took Becky over with him, and so I needed a chief deputy. So Kathy Butterfield is my new chief deputy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, moving on.
Okay, we're moving to financials. We have first in County General Clerk, 125. C, 126, Deputy Clerk, positive $100. And then 103, first deputy / elections, positive $37,000 for a total of $37,100.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. All right, we did not give any recommendation on this in Finance Committee, so you want to explain what we're looking at?
Yeah,
Rick?
what I'm asking for is a new first deputy over the election room. Now, we've made a lot of changes in the last 4 years in the way we run our elections and the security therein. And it's gotten to the point where I can't handle all of that room full time and still handle my duties as clerk. So I'm asking for this position. This person will oversee the voter registration office and the appointed election officials from the party chairs to try to, help keep our elections straight and secure as they already are.
And then Donna, do you want to speak to that $100? There she is.
That was just an error made at budget time. We shorted that position by $100, and it really should have the $100.
If I could ask a question, Mr. Spangler.
Sure.
Was this brought up during the budget time?
Yes, it was brought up and I was asked to bring it back at the first of the year.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering that one.
Okay.
So you're saying you requested it during budget time and the council recommended to bring it back the first year instead of dealing with it at that time?
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, so how I remember it is we didn't add any new positions, and we asked him to bring it back so this new council would have the opportunity to hear it out before we grew government.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Jane, is that how you recall it?
Yes.
We reduced that office in 2015 by 4 people. And, that's when we implemented the poll pads. I kind of traded off employees for equipment at that point. The poll pads, though, don't help us with processing absentee ballots and stuff like that in the office. If you look at just absentee ballots alone, we have to handle each piece of paper at least 4 times. We have to request, we mail out the ballot, we have the ballot come back, we have to handle the ballot for counting purposes. So there's so much time involved. Over the last 4 elections, I've done probably 80% of that myself. And I just can't, especially what we're going to be looking at next year, I just can't guarantee you that I can get it done without more help.
So I remember when we were discussing the vote centers, and I know that's kind of been up in the air or whatever, working towards that. One of the thoughts was using the vote centers would reduce the workload. Am I
It will
interpreting that
reduce
right?
the workload out in the county.
It
It
wouldn't
does,
help
we
you,
still
no.
have the same amount of absentee ballots to handle. We have the same amount of voters to process in-house. So it doesn't cut our work down there.
So even though we didn't make a recommendation at finance, Rick did go into detail, I think, with us to explain, all those pieces. And it does seem to be probably an overdue process to have somebody engage with just the election component.
Rick, at Finance, you also talked about the reason for implementing or asking for this position this year as opposed to waiting for the presidential election year.
Well, there just won't be time to train. I'm expecting 24 to be an absolute nightmare, more so than 20. So, we got to get these people in place. We got to get them trained. We got to get ready to go before that onslaught hits. This being a municipal election this year, it's a good time to train. It's a good time. We're going to be implementing new procedures in our election room, and we're also going to be implementing more of the VVPAT machines out in the field. So this will give time for us to learn and trust those too. I can be out training. I can be out working while this first deputy can be processing the ballots coming in and out. Very shortly, we're going to start, receiving requests and starting to mail out applications for absentee ballots.
Thank you.
And if I remember correctly from the fall, y'all had to work some pretty late hours too, to try to accommodate.
We're bound to get them out the day they're requested.
Right.
So there's a lot of times that in the fall, just in this county election, that we were there till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I'm always the first one in. I'm starting just as soon as the first piece of mail gets there. In the presidential, you go back to 2020, we worked weekends, we worked nights, we worked every time we could to try to process them. We even had so many absentee ballots, we had to store them outside of the election room in 2020.
I could ask for a point of clarification, and again, I apologize for not knowing this off the top of my head, but my understanding, the majority of department heads have a deputy, correct? And you're saying
I've
that you
got-
don't have one?
I've got a chief deputy, I've got a first deputy for the courts, and this will be a first deputy for the election room. And I got 23 employees right now, Ryan, and we handle all the records for the courts, the child support and everything else besides the election.
I think one of the things that makes your department unique is the fact that you really do have two
Right.
very distinct, different roles under one bucket.
I just want to give you an opportunity to make the case on the record, because I know, number one, I'm not a big fan of doing things at the beginning of the year in the first meeting, just because
I can
we
understand.
already, we did a budget. You're saying that you asked to bring it back. I don't remember it, but Jessica confirms it. And with the other part of it, I know a lot of folks aren't really keen on growing government. So I'm asking questions, not as a position of doubt, but to give you an opportunity to make your case.
I appreciate that.
So I appreciate it.
I don't think any of us like making appropriations out of county general at the beginning of the year, but I mean, this was what we asked him to do, so.
Yeah, and I think I'd have to agree.
Can I speak on his behalf about what I've seen with the first deputies? So the person that has covered for him from the clerk side deals with juvenile court. She also deals with a lot of personnel and things like that to help the chief deputy. And so every time an election comes around, she's pulled from the clerk duties. So that means all of her clerk duties take a back seat kind of to the election duties, opening cases, dealing with court stuff. And so she can do that from the election room, but it's still taking a back seat. So the court always feels like they're getting, not the attention that they should get. And it's wearing her out because she's being pulled in 5 different directions. And so it'd be nice to have this employee just be able to do her job rather than going from election room to court to the clerk and all of that. And this has been going on since before he was clerk. And then when they reduced the employees, it made it worse. So from the court standpoint, we would back this request because the court does affect the court work.
And then Rick, I guess the next question I have is, in a non-election year, what would this individual be working on?
I'll implement, we've got, this next 4 years are going to be, we did a lot in the last 4. We got all kinds of stuff planned for this next 4 years. We're going to be replacing all of our election equipment. We're going to have to go to the VVPATs 100% of all the sites out in, along with keeping up with the new election laws and running what we call a voter list maintenance. We feel like we've got probably anywhere from 8 to 12% of the active voters in Delaware County are not active. So we have to run that voter list maintenance to make sure we're getting, the people that are dead off of there, the people that have moved away and didn't notify us off of there, so that we can actually give the county an accurate count of how many voters we have, so we know how many voters are participating in the election. So it's going to be a very busy 4 years.
What was that percent roughly?
8 to 12% of the people on, we got a little over 67,000, I think, showing active now. And I'd say, it could be as high as 10,000 that we need to purge. We've already purged 10,000 in the last 4 years.
Well, that'll make our percentage turnout look a little bit
Yeah,
better
and it does a
too.
lot, makes the percentage turnout more accurate, but it reduces the chance of making a mistake. A lot of people say, it's something to cheat about. I don't worry about the cheating. We got safeguards in hand. We can catch that. But if I have, if I get a death certificate on Orion Web, and for some reason I don't get all the information, we call them identifiers. Maybe I don't get your social security, or maybe I don't get your date of birth, and there's 3 other Ryan Webbs there. One of my staff can click the wrong person, you come in to vote, and you're dead. So we can correct that, but it's quite embarrassing to correct. So we have to, with eliminating these, it takes away those possibilities and can help us with our records. And that does happen in every election. We have somebody come up that's
He means no
eliminated.
offense by that, Ryan.
You're the closest.
I'm not gonna say anything. I think you make a great case, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm not doing my job if I don't point these things out. First of all, this is just my opinion, but when we were doing our budgets, it wasn't long ago, most of the employees, everybody was dying for a raise and begging for a raise, and we couldn't get them. We didn't have the funds to do it. Fortunately, we had a surplus this year, and well, I shouldn't say surplus. We had some extra money this year, and the sheriff's doing some things with the federal inmates, and we were able to grant a significant raise for all the employees. Before that money was available, one of the things I was suggesting is, we might even have to condense our workforce, do more with less. And as you said, you guys have been doing more with less since 2015. And I know that's difficult and it's tricky, but if we asked ourselves, if we didn't have the money, if we didn't have this $3,700, we would, that's what we would say. We'd say, you've been doing it since 2015. Can you continue doing it for another year and come back to us? So I want to make the case for both sides of it, and just point that out. I think you have a excellent point of view, and you bring up good points as far as the security of the election and just easing the load of everyone. I just felt like, based off of, especially with us having a new council, and a lot of these guys weren't here for those budget meetings, to bring full circle the temperature of the room of how it was just not that long ago.
But I would like to remind you too, that not only did we reduce staff in 2015, but last year I took one employee out of my county general budget and put them into our incentive account so that we could help with the raises that you guys worked with on the council. So I've always been there to participate with this county council, and I always will be. I need this one too.
You are correct. I do recall that. Thank you.
And once again, it's a year for training, so they're not throwing them to the wall, trial by fire next year.
Oh, I agree.
Do you have any further questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
You. All right, moving on.
Communications, 124. We have 198 part-time, positive $15,000. H123 supervisor, positive $9,080 for a total of $24,080.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. Again, we did not give a recommendation on this during Finance Committee, so.
Why does this total say 61,180?
That would be the total for the county general.
Should be
together,
160.
The two together,
Okay.
but maybe it's,
Should be 160 instead of 180.
I'm sorry, what are you saying?
You total 80 and 80 to come up with 180, and it should be 160.
It's only 180.
Is that what you're
There's
referring
only,
to?
no, the grand total,
$1,160 for total for county general.
180, yeah. 180 is the total for county general.
160 should be the total.
Oh, I apologize. I added the total and the supervisor. No, that's right?
I'm only asking for 24,080 total.
That's the total for communications. But if you
Okay.
take the
I see what you're
2480 plus the
I
37
got you now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
that's going to come to the 61,180 that
apologies.
you're seeing.
It's two total.
Understood, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so it's two different
Yeah, I got it
appropriations
now.
combined.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is it gives us an idea of what the total is out of that one fund, so,
Gotcha. It is, yeah.
yeah.
The other one didn't have that on there. Okay. All right.
I like the totals.
All right, so we had a motion from Ryan, second by Eugene, and Finance had no recommendation on this since it was an appropriation out of County General. So ask Fred all your questions.
Well, I'll start. The part-time position was related to the other transfer. So you're trying to create or move somebody to a part-time position who needs it or
Correct.
wants to be put to part-time.
Correct.
Which also then helps, you said previously, with your flexibility on staffing, right?
Yes. I just don't have enough funding in part-time to make it for the whole year, so. And the other one, the supervisor position was the one that we did a transfer for earlier. Puts an amount in there so that we can pay that person for the rest of the year.
The additional 9,000.
Yeah.
And once again, you had a discussion with some of us individually. Reiterate, you think the overtime will pretty much wash out the supervisor raise, correct?
Yeah, so the supervisors are no longer eligible for overtime, so they're actually salaried. And so I'm actually taking a position that's eligible for overtime right now and taking that away, so.
Because you're moving to 12-hour shifts.
And we are moving to 12-hour shifts.
And I think you have a unique situation here with your part-time employee since they're already fully trained
Correct.
and there's no learning curve there and you have someone to fill in. And you wouldn't have known this during budget hearing, and that's what I'm sure you've told all of us when you've met with us, that this wasn't anticipated, but what a blessing to have someone who can do the job right out the gate, but.
Well, and isn't the idea this is all pretty much going to wash in by the end, right? And work itself out. So yes, it's $61,000 now. However,
It's not
or not
61,
24.
24,880. I'm just going to cover this up here. Still be off. 2480 now, but by the end of the year, it'll work itself out. This is all part of your master shuffling plan, right?
Correct.
And you're expecting additional funds from city this year?
Yes, we are. $200,000 over what we budgeted.
Right, so that was not in our anticipated revenue as we went through the budget process this past fall. And with that, it's a 5-year agreement that increases every year, is that correct?
Yes.
So we'll have a little bit extra coming in to help with that, so
It's
that's
just
a perk.
for the record, you're referring to the 911 agreement with
Correct.
the city, correct?
Correct.
Awesome.
All right. Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes?
Mr. Cantz? Yes. Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes. All right. Moving on.
Okay, moving to other, we have coordinating council to prevent alcohol and drug abuse, 1148. We have executive director. My bad, hang on here. They don't, okay. Executive director, positive $4,000. Office and meeting supplies, positive $725. 6 prevention education grants, positive $20,000. 8 intervention treatment grants, positive $14,737. 7 justice law enforcement grants, positive $16,016, for a total of $55,478.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. This had a favorable recommendation from the Finance Committee, and it's a grant money, so it's outside of County General. We all have our papers that Donna provides us, so you can see what's available in that fund. Do you have any questions?
I do have one quick question about the executive director.
Yes.
Could you
That's
maybe
me.
just give me a little details on that? Is that a
Um,
one-time payment?
That's a yearly payment that we're the local coordinating council. So a portion of the money that comes from the drug-free communities goes towards keeping me there doing the local coordinating council as well as the other part of my job through the Department of Mental Health and Addictions.
That's all paid from the grant as well?
Yes.
Enough for me. Thank you.
Any further questions?
This will be the request for the year.
Yes. It was supposed to come in November and my mom got sick and passed away. And I apologize, I wasn't here then. So we had to push it forward to now.
All you needed. Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Cantz?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt?
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes. All right, moving on.
Okay, Galcasa, 1212. We have 199 longevity, positive $600 for a total of $600.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Another favorable recommendation from Finance Committee, and this is another grant fund. Any questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz. Yes. Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, and moving on.
CASA JCAT Pilot Project 9115. We have 171 FICA, positive $30. 172 PERF, positive $90. 173 Insurance, positive $3,085. We have a total of $3,205.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. Another favorable recommendation from Finance. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz. Yes. Ms. Piper.
Yes. Moving on.
Okay, next is Casa Voca Grant Fund 9116. This is a reimbursement grant, therefore the exact amounts are used rather than rounding off like we normally do. That's why you see that change on there. We have B 101, Child Home and School Visitor 1, positive $5,991.44. 102, Child Home and School Visitor 2, positive $5,991.44. 171 FICA, positive $916.46. 172 PERF, positive $1,338.84. 174 Life Insurance, positive $67.26. 175 Disability Insurance, positive $395.66. Then 311 Contractual Services, positive $202.09, for a total of $14,903.19.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Another favorable recommendation from Finance Committee. Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I would like to ask you to, just for the record, explain what this grant does, but before I allow you to do that, I just wanted to point out, you made normally we round up or down, and you made a comment that because this was a grant, we had to use the exact dollar amounts,
Reimbursement.
reimbursement amount. This sheet right here, it doesn't show the 19 cents, so it shows it's 19 cents short. Is that a problem, or is that just a typo?
Well, if you look at the
14,900.
bottom, they have 60,136, so that's plenty to cover. Am I in the right one? Hang on, I'm in the wrong one.
Yeah, it's the
They have
Casa Voca.
14,903, and, well, you're right, as far as the 19 cents goes. If the balance in there, well, I can tell you, I rounded the balance. I would have to pull the sheet to confirm whether that
Can I say
19 cents is there. Yeah, go ahead.
We have to round anything and put it in Gateway in the state.
So it's a non-issue then?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to verify. Thank
you.
you. Okay.
All right. Ashley Soldat, and I'm the director of the Delaware County CASA program. So this grant here is so I have 3 full-time caseworkers out in the field. We have almost 200 kids that are appointed to our program. We try to get community volunteers to take cases, and we have several cases that volunteers do work on, but because we have kids that still don't have an advocate, we use these funds to hire staff advocates to kind of close that gap so we can serve as many children as possible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz. Yes. Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on.
Okay, DUI grant 8109. 101 DUI grant, Operation Pullover, positive $30,000, total $30,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Eugene. Again, another favorable recommendation. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on.
Emergency medical service, capital improvements, 4910. 448, furnace replacement, positive 8,876, for a total of positive $8,876.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Favorable recommendation from Finance Committee. Do we have any questions?
Real quick question.
Yeah.
Is that a grant you applied for to get this furnace paid for? Am I reading that right?
No, it's coming out of our capital improvements account.
Okay, thank you.
It's 2 furnaces. One broke during the snowstorm. Said it can't be repaired, so I thought we better just replace them both because they're both original 1992 furnaces that were put in when the building was built up in Albany. So,
All right,
Yes, they have a very healthy balance, so
Yeah.
in that account.
right?
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on.
Okay, the next one listed under opioid response grant 8199, that has been withdrawn.
All right,
Next is the SVO fund 1192, 200 supplies, positive $6,000. 300 phone computer, positive $6,000, for a total of $12,000.
Motion to approve. Second.
motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Again, a favorable recommendation. Do we have any additional questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on.
Okay, we have statewide 911, which is 1222. 323 training travel expense, positive $20,000, for a total of $20,000.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Dan. Again, another favorable recommendation. Do we have any questions?
You might want to go over this one just to.
The $20,000 error at budget time. I didn't catch it till after the budget was already put through, so it's just to correct an error.
When you were fairly new for this budget session, so, and for those of you who don't know, budgets have to be turned in by July 1st. And then we start working on our budgets in September, and we can't add additional appropriations to what was published, so couldn't do anything with it at that time, even if you brought it to us.
Correct.
And so, and you had said the money's there, there's 1.7 million plus the budget's 753. Right?
Yeah, there's plenty of money in the 901 fund to, it should have been in the original budget, it just wasn't there.
Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, someone would like to read the famous motion?
Motion. Go ahead. Motion to approve financial transfers and to amend salary ordinance with like reduction. Second.
Motion by Bill, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, so moving on to our board appointments. And I provided the council with a little spreadsheet with everyone's names who provided or said they had interest in applying for these different boards. How this will work is we'll actually go board by board. We'll open up the nominations, we'll take nominations, we'll close nominations, and we'll vote. So do we have any questions on the process? All right, hearing none, we'll start with the Alcohol Beverage Board. I'll open nominations.
So moved. Second.
All right, open from Dan, second by Eugene.
Just for the record keeping, the president can open the nominations. You don't need a second.
Okay,
You open the nominations, then any additional actual nomination tendered by a member would require a second, and then you would vote.
Okay.
Once nominations are closed. Closing the nominations would take a motion and a second.
okay. All right, well then I've opened them. So,
I'd like to nominate Captain Tony Johnson for Alcohol Beverage Board.
I'll second that.
I'd like to nominate Doug Hutchinson. Second.
all right, can we just do it by acclamation of the name that we would like to support?
You do a roll call and they would, is this just one person or two?
We've had two nominations. So we had a nomination of Tony Johnson from Ryan and Matt, and then a nomination of Doug Hutchinson from Dan and Eugene.
Okay, so assuming nominations get closed with only two and you need to fill two, then acclamation would be appropriate.
No, we only have one.
Okay,
I'm
then
saying
I
by
would-
name, do we would,
Then I think you should roll call and each council member would say the name of the
Okay.
individual that they would like to vote for.
perfect. This is a new process for us. We've typically done a slate, so bear with us.
Motion to close nominations. Second.
All right, so closed by Eugene, second by Bill or Matt. Bill? All right, roll call by naming the individual you'd like to appoint to the Alcohol Beverage Board.
Mr. Flanagan,
Doug Hutchinson.
Mr. Hughes,
Doug Hutchinson.
Mr. Cantz. Tony Johnson. Ms. Lassiter,
Tony Johnson.
Mr. Webb,
Tony Johnson.
Mr. Whitehead,
Doug Hutchinson.
Ms. Piper,
Doug Hutchinson. All right, I'll now open up nominations for the Animal Shelter Board.
Miss Beth Neff. Nominate her.
Second. We should clarify that we only need one ahead of time.
Good call. So for the Alcohol Beverage Board, we only have one appointment. For the Animal Shelter, we have one appointment. So Dan nominated Beth Neff, and there is a second from
Eugene.
Eugene.
Has anyone spoke with Beth Neff?
She
Yeah,
sent a
she's-
letter.
She sent a letter. She's interested.
So this is a balanced board, and when former chairwoman Mary Chambers resigned, she resigned from this as well. So we need a Democrat to fill the Animal Shelter Board, and Beth, pretty much right after that meeting that Mary announced, sent an email to Denise.
So I did receive that. I was reached out, contacted by one of the board members, Mary Stilts, and she asked me to consider, number one, we didn't know there would only be one candidate at the time, but, and remind the rest of the council, if anyone's not aware, if the person that we're gonna appoint is in favor of a no-kill shelter, apparently the current status is as a no-kill shelter, and they get some federal funding by maintaining that status. And her plea to me was to get some feedback from the person if they support that type of philosophy of no-kill, or, you know, keeping the numbers down by euthanizing the animals. So I guess it's really irrelevant with only having one nominee. I just wanted to put it on the record as far as that concern being noted.
Right.
I do know Beth personally, and I do know she likes animals.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
I know.
that's a tough board to be on. That's a hard tugging board.
Yes.
It absolutely is. You have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second.
All right, closed by you, excuse me, Dan, second by Matt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes. For Beth?
Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, I'll open up the nominations for one member for Community Corrections.
I'd like to nominate Jessica Piper. Second.
We'll say Eugene on the motion, Bill on the second.
Do what we talked about earlier. I'll nominate Andrew Pop.
Okay. Right, having not received a second, we will vote on,
You close nominations.
I need a motion to close nominations.
So moved. Second.
Closed motion by Bill, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, I'll open up nominations for the Daleville Economic Board. We need one representative, and the one, actually, we had one person who expressed interest, and that was Brent Cheatham, who currently sits on that board. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Move to nominate Mr. Cheatham. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene.
Move to close nomination. Second.
Closed motion by Bill, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving on, we have one nomination for the EMA Advisory Board. We had 3 individuals who expressed interest: Randy McCormick, Craig Bonesteel, and Matt Cantz. I'll open those nominations.
I'd like to nominate Matt Cantz. Second.
Is that you, Ryan?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, so motion by Eugene, second by Ryan. Entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved. Second.
We're talking about, okay,
Uh,
may I interject for a second? Everyone knows that I've been reaching out to a lot of the public.
Point of order. We have a motion, a second on the table. We need to vote on the motion before you can interrupt.
Fair enough. Just don't
I
think we can
will, I
appoint this
withdraw
board.
my motion to close.
Withdrawn?
So, are we clear?
Yeah, you're fine.
When I reached out, the list that was given to me, there was a little bit of an error on some of the names. And John had contacted me and stated that that position, that EMA board, did you say it had to be a council member, or had to be the president?
It is the president. of
Had to be the
council.
president, couldn't be considered for no one else.
Oh,
I thought it was taken off the list. So I didn't even realize it until I seen John get up to the podium, so,
The representative for the EMAC board is the president of the council.
okay, because it had been
The
Steve
president,
Craycraft for
Yeah,
how many years, Denise, do you recall?
or it's the president can choose somebody designee.
Cool.
Like the commissioner president is the chairperson for that board, whoever it is. So it changes every year.
Okay,
So, yeah.
cool. Hey, Matt.
make it easy.
Sounds official.
We have a
Yes.
meeting
Yes, I
February 8th,
volunteer.
Matt. We
Volunteer?
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a
have a
note.
meeting February 8th.
Okay, all right.
I'll make a note. It's been kind of tricky, and Denise can probably testify to this, when you have the, county bodies with the council and the commissioners, and then the city with the city council and the mayor, and trying to coordinate all of this, because I know I've talked to Denise, she sent us a list. We got a list from John Brook, I got a list from the mayor's office, and trying to
Sure.
make sure we have all the IC codes and everything correct. So I'll make a note to that master file? Because I was completely unaware and
Sure,
did
I
not read
understand.
anything
Nope,
into that said
not a
that was
problem.
the case, so.
Just want to clarify it, so
Cool.
we're good.
All right, well, hey, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, I
thank you,
didn't mean
guys.
to interrupt. I just River said that.
All right. Well, that was fun. Glad you had interest, Matt.
Yeah, I made it easy, right?
Do we need to withdraw that motion then, or?
Bill did. Withdrew his nomination. I think you just close nominations and move on.
All right, the nominations are closed. We're moving on. All right, next we have one appointment to the Fair Board. We had multiple names.
No, there's
It's an-
nothing before the council at the moment on that issue.
All right, many names. Obviously, we only have one appointment here, so my recommendation is for any of these folks who have interest to reach out to the Fair Board. Donna, when is the next Fair Board meeting? You happen to remember, Donna?
I think it says
Oh,
the
she's looking
Tuesday
up,
before
okay.
ours.
I feel like we got an email, but anyways, there's an
1st of February.
21st of February, and that's at the fairgrounds,
Heartland Hall.
Heartland Hall. All right, great.
When
So
was that? Sorry. What'd she say?
it's February
21st.
21st. What time is that meeting?
5:30.
5:30. So obviously, with so many people interested, that's awesome. If we don't pick any of these folks, well, there'll be plenty of folks we don't select. There are opportunities to get involved and volunteer. That's a working board, and they would be thrilled to have more community volunteers. So reach out to the commissioners if you have interest in that, to be a community volunteer or go to the meetings. With that being said, we have many names on the list. We have Andrew Pop, Amber Green, Bailey Jester, Rhiannon Reed, Cherish Howe, Linda Stark Colston, and Chris Green. I will open the nominations for Fair Board.
I would like to nominate Rhiannon Reed.
Second. Can I have a point of clarity on Bailey with that email you sent? She was assigned as a volunteer, is that right? She was appointed as a volunteer based on your email?
Because I know she sent another email
Yeah.
stating she had interest.
She's,
I mean, she
she's
just
already
sent
a
the
volunteer.
resume,
Yeah,
and I replied to you all that the council doesn't appoint community volunteers, and only the commissioners do.
Okay.
But as
Okay.
Donna had previously said.
But her name's still in the hat then.
she sent it.
Okay.
Yeah.
She sent it, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did it yesterday.
Rihanna and Bailey are both community volunteers.
Currently.
Okay.
Yeah. I put little asterisks next to the folks who are currently volunteering or serving on boards, but thank you for that clarification, Donna. All right, so we have a motion by Eugene, second by Dan for Rhiannon Reed.
I'll make a motion to nominate Amber Green.
Second.
Madam President,
Yes.
after the nominations are made, before we vote, may I say something?
Yeah,
Okay, I will wait to see if
I-
anyone has any nominations.
don't hear any further, so do we need
Okay.
to close the nominations before?
Yes.
All right, so I'll take a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Matt, I'll give that one to Jane, the second. All right, yes, Ryan.
So I just wanted to say, on this Fair Board, first of all, after all the appointments and lists that I put out as far as interest, this received the most interest as far as people in the community. And I was really pleased to see that much interest in the Fair Board, especially considering how much work they put in. That's a working board. They do a lot of work. Ask Donna, she's out there mowing and doing all these things. So what I'm about to say, I don't want it to come off as a criticism of any of their hard work or any of that, because they are an incredibly hardworking board, and they volunteer their time. They put in a tremendous amount of time for no financial gain whatsoever. With that being said, the feedback I got, and again, I'm just a vessel sharing what I receive from the community. People reach out to me and they share their thoughts with me, and I'm just sharing what I've heard. the Fair Board, I guess there's a desire for an infusion of some fresh ideas and some vision, a different type of vision. And I guess let me be incredibly blunt. So this year I'm going to predict the fair. We're going to have 2 or 3 derbies. There'll probably be a rodeo, and Cook and Bell will be on the main stage. And I guess what I'm getting at is the desire, from what I've heard, the feedback I've received, is for a different type of approach outside of what the norm has been the last decade or so. And when we make our appointments, I know a lot of these folks are volunteers already. We just want to, I'm just trying to get this council to appreciate the value of a different viewpoint and someone who's not already in that position, or someone who can bring something new to the table. So again, please, if you're on that board and you work your butt off, I hope you don't take any offense to what I'm saying. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying there's a lot of value and a different perspective from someone who's not already in the room. However, I know we've got some good names on this board, and we'll be in good hands either way. I just wanted to share that feedback that I received from the public. So thank you for the opportunity.
Ryan, I'd encourage you to tell all the people that you hear from to go and volunteer at the fair, and not only the fair, but all the other events that happen on those fairgrounds. I am sure that they will not be turned away if they're willing to put in some hard work.
I know that the dog show is a busy place.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe Denise's email was very beneficial to that, because as the young lady sent her email, she wants to volunteer. She doesn't know how. How do you do it? And I believe, if I'm going to paraphrase, is it reach out to the commissioners to become a volunteer? Is that correct?
Correct.
So there you have it, folks. If you want to volunteer, reach out to the commissioners. I'm sure they'd love to have you.
I'd love for every single name on this list
Absolutely.
after this meeting reach out to the commissioners, because this is awesome to have that much interest in this particular board. So, all right, nominations have been closed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes,
Amber Green.
Mr. Cantz, Rhiannon Reed, Ms. Lassiter,
Rihanna.
Mr. Webb,
Amber Green.
Mr. Whitehead,
Rhiannon Reed.
Mr. Flanagan,
Rihanna.
Ms. Piper,
Rhiannon Reed.
Congratulations, Rhiannon.
All right, moving on to Housing Authority. We have 3 openings. This is a balanced board, so they all must have a Democrat voting history. Our 4 candidates do have the voting history. So we have Kira Childers, Lethay Pegas, Jason Lips, and Amy West. The top 3 are all currently sitting on that board and have gone through the appropriate training to be a commissioner on that board. So I will open that nomination process now.
Go ahead. Do you want to nominate all 3?
If you want to nominate a slate, you can do that.
I would nominate the 3 already existing members, Kira, Lethay, and Jason Lips.
Second.
I would nominate Amy West for consideration, as well as Lethay Pegues.
But there's already.
But she's already nominated Lethay, so that's not necessary.
Well, he did it as a
Pick.
slate. So who's your slate? Amy,
Those are just,
who's your third?
I would say Kira.
Kira? All right, and do we have a second?
I'll move to second Matt's slate.
I think we had Cantz and Eugene.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're waiting for a second for Ryan's.
I'll nominate, I'll second it as a consideration.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Closed by Dan, second by Eugene.
Can we clarify for the record the name? It's your intention to vote all 3 in a slate?
Yes.
There are two different slates. Can we clarify for the record who's in the first slate?
The Matt and Eugene slate is the current 3 members, Kira, Lethea, and Jason.
Okay.
And then the second slate is Amy, Lethea, and Kira.
So for the record, you're going to vote for one slate or the other, so we'll call it Slate A and Slate B, having those names attached. So your vote would be for the appointment of all 3 with one vote, either the first slate or the second slate, just so everybody's clear.
And A is the current sitting board members. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Slate A, the current members.
Mr. Hughes.
Slate A.
Mr. Cantz. Slate A. Ms. Lassiter.
Slate A.
Mr. Webb.
We'll vote slate B.
Mr. Wyatt.
Slate A.
Ms. Piper.
Slate A. All right, moving on to redevelopment commission. We have 2 appointments. Again, this is another board with a lot of interest. We have Andrew Pop, Josh Talby, Amber Green, Joe Retz, Carrie Wiggerly, and Rob Kiesling. I'll open up the nominations.
Note here first.
Yeah.
Mr. Wiggerly currently serves on that board.
Sorry. Thank you for
Is there
that.
any
Balance?
party balance or anything required?
I did not see anything on the documentation I was provided with.
So 5 are Republican and Mr. Wiggerly is a Democrat.
Correct. Denise, do your records indicate if it's balanced?
I think it is.
So 1 of each? Yes. It is balanced.
Well, you had them identified. That's the reason I
Yeah, I kind of felt like that might be,
can't imagine you forgetting with 13 of these slates, you would forget
I
something.
know, right?
Yeah.
You're saying this has to be a balance?
Yes.
So one Democrat.
One
So let's,
So let me nominate Mr. Wiggerly as a Democrat since we don't have any choice.
Second.
And get that out of the way.
okay.
Right?
All right, we'll do that vote first then. We'll do the Democrat vote first. We have a motion by
done,
Dan,
Dan.
second by Eugene.
That'll make it easier.
Considering there's no one else, I'll entertain a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Closed by Eugene, second by Dan. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz. Yes. Ms. Lassiter.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes.
Motion to open nominations for the second redevelopment person appointee.
Second.
All right, Republican candidate's been opened by Dan. Was that second by Ryan?
Yes.
All right,
I'd like to nominate Rob Kiesling.
Second.
I'd like to nominate Joe Retz.
Second. I will nominate Amber Green.
Second.
all right, so anyone else?
If there's no other motions, I'll make a motion to close. Excuse me, nominations.
All right, so we closed by Dan. Is that you, Eugene, or Matt?
Second.
All right, Matt closed. All right, so just for clarification, we have Eugene and Dan putting up Rob Kiesling, Ryan and Bill, Joe Retz, and then Matt and Ryan with Amber Green. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Rob Kiesling.
Mr. Hughes.
Rob Kiesling.
Mr. Cantz. Amber Green. Ms. Lassiter.
Joe Retz.
Mr. Webb.
Amber Green.
Mr. Wyatt.
Rob Kiesling.
Ms. Piper.
Rob Kiesling. All right, moving on to Tax Abatement Committee. We have 3 appointments and 4 individuals who expressed interest. Ryan Ballard is currently serving on that board. We have Andrew Pop, Josh Perkins, Bill Hughes, and Ryan Ballard. So
Three, is that?
there are 3 appointments. I'll open up those nominations.
I'd like to nominate Ryan Ballard.
Second.
I'll nominate Mr. Bill Hughes.
Second. I'll nominate Josh Perkins. Second.
I'll nominate Andrew Pop.
Second.
Wants to close.
So moved.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Closed
There's
by
nobody left.
Dan, second by Matt.
All right, notes.
All right, so I don't know what's the easiest.
Should we just have each person name their 3?
Yes, we have 3. They're all on here.
They're all been-
All 4 have been nominated. So,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So everyone,
you.
Is it possible for us to just each name our 3 and then keep a tally of the highest 3 vote getters?
that works for
Or you
me.
want to hold it?
That works for me. It is. All right, roll call, please.
Would you repeat them? Repeat the names, please.
Yes, ma'am. So we have Andrew Pop, Josh Perkins, Bill Hughes, and Ryan Ballard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Just for apologize, just for clarification, since you're going to be voting for more than one person, it'll be the 3 of the 4 individuals that have the most votes.
Mr. Flanagan.
I would like to vote for Mr. Perkins, Josh Perkins, Bill Hughes, and Ryan Ballard.
Mr. Hughes.
Perkins, Hughes, Ballard.
Mr. Cantz.
Ballard, Hughes, and Pop.
Slassiter.
Bill Hughes, Josh and Ryan.
Mr. Webb.
Like to vote for Mr. Ryan Ballard, Mr. Bill Hughes, and Mr. Andrew Pop.
Mr. Wyatt.
Mr. Perkins, Mr. Hughes, and Mr. Ballard.
Ms. Piper.
Josh Perkins, Bill Hughes, and Ryan Ballard.
By my tally, Ballard received 7 votes, Mr. Hughes received 7 votes, Mr. Perkins received 5 votes, and Mr. Pop received 2 votes. So it would be Ballard, Hughes, and Perkins.
All right, and then our last board appointment is the Yorktown Economic Development Commission. We've got 1 vote here. 2 individuals have expressed interest, Dan Flanagan and Amber Green. I will open up nominations.
I'd like to nominate Dan Flanagan.
Second.
I'll nominate Amber Green.
Second.
It was motion by Ryan, second by Matt.
Move to close nominations. Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Dan
Mr. Hughes.
Flanagan.
Mr. Cantz.
Amber Green.
Slassiter.
Flanagan.
Mr. Webb.
Ms. Amber Green.
Ms. Wyatt,
Flanagan.
Ms. Piper,
Flanagan. All right. Here are board appointments. Next. We have the approval of the county council board liaison assignments, so I handed those out earlier. The one big call out I want to point out is Mr. Hughes did reach out to the Board of Judges, since we did not have an appointment for the Board of Judges. And the presiding judge, Judge Cannon, thought that was a good idea that we had a liaison for county council with that board, and Bill has graciously offered to be that liaison. So that's something new on the list. And I do have to vote for this, correct? We have to do a roll call, or is this just appointments?
I thought they were just at the
Appointments.
pleasure at the board, at the,
I think traditionally, the liaison appointments have been appointments by the council president.
There you go. So I can run through these so just so everyone knows where they stand. So with the Yorktown Mount Pleasant Library Board, Highway and Commissioners, we have Dan Flanagan. Finance Committee, Board of Judges, Security Committee, William Hughes. Finance Committee, Board of Health and IT Committee, Matt Cantz. Fair Board, Housing Authority, Joint Communications Board, Jane Lassiter. Finance Committee, Commissioners and JRAC is myself. Animal Control, EMS, EMA, and Regional Wastewater is Ryan Webb. And Delaware County Redevelopment Commissioners and Sheriff Department is Eugene Whitehead. So there are our liaisons to the different boards. And we will move on. We have the encumbrances. Did I skip that?
no, not yet. That's now.
Oh,
according
good,
to our agenda.
okay.
So you're right.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the 2023 encumbrances. Those were handed out. It's this packet here. Donna, do you want to explain what this is to the new members?
At the end of the year, if there are invoices that are turned in or contracts, they have to be turned in by a certain date, and that appropriation can be encumbered to be spent within the first 2 months of the following year.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, up next are elected officials and department heads.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm begging again. I thought that we had a resolution on the table today for vote centers. The council is an important part of this as we go into our meetings again today at noon to get this vote center thing processed and in the books on time. I have to have your resolution by the end of the month. So I'm going to have to ask you to have a special meeting. I do have a copy of the resolution that I can give to the president and we can pass along, but I would need to meet with you guys and get this voted on prior to the end of the month.
You have a copy of the resolution with you?
Yes, sir, I do. I'll just give it to
I
you.
distribute that and
I can make copies.
if the other members are willing to take it on.
If there's no legal reason that we can't vote, I'm willing to vote.
Yeah, this is something that I've
I
advocated.
just
for
didn't know the
years.
rule on a resolution, if it had to be advertised.
Just- Does it?
No, it's not an ordinance.
Basically, you're not paying for anything, you're giving your graces for Delaware County to become a vote center county. That's what you're doing for us. Commissioners have already unanimously approved it, so.
Well, why don't we, while Donna's making a copy, we'll come back to you if that's cool.
Okay.
All right. I'd much rather take a look at it now than try to coordinate another meeting in the next few days.
Thank you. Over me?
Good morning, Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. A couple of things. Usually in January, I present the council with meal costs for our jail for the previous year, as well as a pension update. I don't have those numbers, so I apologize. I'll get those to you next month, along with our annual commissary report for last year. So all of that will come in February instead of January. So I apologize for not having that. Secondly, I want to extend an invitation to this new council like I have done in the past, especially to the new members. I strongly urge you sometime before August and before the budgets start to set up with me a couple of hours to come up to the jail and set either an intake or in the master control room to see what our corrections officers do on a daily basis, and also to set a couple hours out of your time one day when you're available to do a ride along with our deputies on the road to see what they do. So I think that all the department heads and elected officials would encourage you to do that with their departments. I know EMS and dispatch and county highway would, and maybe tonight might be a good night to go ride with county highway. But to know exactly what it is, those of us who, especially who work a 24/7 schedule, what it is we do on a daily basis in and out. So that is an open invitation. So whenever you have a couple hours, please get with me and I'd be happy to schedule some time with you. Thank you.
Hey, Tony, while we have you, quick question. Where do we stand with the federal inmate
Yeah,
contract?
so last week I got a email from somebody I didn't know in Washington that said, we're moving along. We didn't get this back in October, this email. So this is the first email I've got from Washington. And that was good. So then I got an email from our counterpart, not our counterpart, but the guy that's helping us from the Marshal Service in Indianapolis. And he said he got an email. They're now working on the contract. So in Washington, they've now moved to the contract. So that's good. We haven't been this far. So I think we're right on the doorstep. We don't know what the per diem is with what they're proposing, but it's got to be a lot better than the first round. So now we're on application 2.0. So I think we're right there.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
Yeah, come on, Gavin.
Delaware County.
No.
It's interesting that coroner's getting called. Gavin Green, Delaware County Coroner's Office. I just wanted to come and kind of every month give you an update status on where we're at.
Thank you.
So we don't come in September, October and say, hey, I need $50,000. And you say, I didn't know what was going on. Didn't know that you guys were so busy. So I wanted to give you some quick stats. First call was 9 hours and 37 minutes into this year that we got our first call. And I was out with Delaware County Sheriff's Department, EMS, for probably, I would say, at least 5 or 6 hours on a call there. So it did not take very long in the new year to start off. We've had a total of 58 cases as of today. We've had 10 autopsies. Our cost did go from about $1,600 an autopsy up to $1,700 because we're having to do additional testing when it comes to specialized opioids and any kind of drugs that we're not, the normal basic panel isn't getting. We've had 4 suicides. And so that's kind of staggering. That was our first call, was the year was a suicide. So that's one thing that I'm gonna be working with mental health and Delaware County Prevention Council with them. I wanted to give that I have personally had 16 cases. My chief deputy has 8. The other part-time has had a total of 12. And Rhiannon, if you remember, you guys switched our salary and we rewrote our job descriptions so that Rhiannon could take calls during the day. She's had 20 calls within her new job description, which has saved about $800 from our part-time budget we would be spending with her incorporating that into our new.
How many calls for what?
Excuse me?
What kind of calls? What do you mean by that?
So it'll be a on-call, so if you have to go to a scene, it will be $100, and if you get a telephone call, it's $25. So if Rhiannon's picking up a call and say, hey, we don't need to send somebody, it's during the day, she can take that, and it's not an additional cost on our part-time. So, and so, yeah, that's what we're at right now. Does anybody have any questions? No?
Wish you were more bored.
Right?
Following the sheriff's coattails, if you want to ever sit and just wait for phone calls like that, I would be more than willing to just call you at 2 o'clock and say, let's go to 2700 block of South Grant. Let's go look. So, all right. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other department heads, elected officials? Not, we're dealing, I mean, you can come up.
Emily Anderson, Court Administrator. So last year at budget time, the judges gave me part of their stipends. Donna was told that they couldn't do that. I have reached out to the State Board of Accounts. I provided a copy of that response from the State Board of Accounts attorney. Don't know. I did not use the stipends yet this year since there was kind of conflicting information. So I just need kind of what you guys want me to do with the stipends at this point.
We're in a really gray area.
Very
and
gray
that's where
area.
it's like tricky because there's nothing in place that says what we did is not okay. But
Right.
there's nothing in place that says like it is okay.
Right.
But to be clear, we didn't give you their stipend. We took their stipend, put it back in the general fund, and then we took money from the general fund and then gave it to you.
Well, and you didn't take it. They voluntarily gave it.
Right.
Right. The issue is that under the Indiana Constitution, you cannot reduce a sitting judge's salary during their tenure. The question becomes is if those sitting judges voluntarily give up a portion of their county stipend to be applied by agreement to the to Emily's position for a raise, does that violate the Constitution? That's a great question. Nobody at the state level could give us an answer. They all admitted it was a good question. They didn't know. So their recommendation was we could either voluntarily undo that and go back to leaving the judges' stipends the way they were and then funding Emily's position through the general fund, or if the council so choose to follow your prior budget appropriations as were passed this past year, their recommendation was to have county council attorney draft an opinion letter, not stating its legality, because the legality, frankly, is an
Not
open
there.
question that would probably only be resolved by the legislature or the Indiana Supreme Court, but just so that we can provide that a letter essentially stating that this is what we did, why we did it, and why we think it's okay. I will tell you, I don't know if it were ever taken up in an actual court case where the Indiana Supreme Court would come down. I don't know. I have no idea. There is no case law on this. It's never been done before.
Can you say your legal opinion as if a stipend is considered part of a salary?
Yes.
It's part of this. The operative question is whether or not the judge, not whether a stipend is a salary or anything else, which I think it is by Supreme Court opinions that have come down in the past. The county council stipends are considered a part of the salary under the Indiana Constitution. The question is whether or not the judges can voluntarily give it up versus the county forcing them to give it up. The distinction being if they're giving it up by agreement, is that one and the same as having their salary reduced, which would be prohibited by the Indiana Constitution? That's a question that's never been asked.
Because
to
no judges
either-
have ever given up their stipends
Right.
or their salary.
So there is no law on this. It would be, if it were to be challenged by the State Board of Accounts later on, then that would be, I guess, what they could choose to do. We didn't get any indication that they would challenge it at any point, just that they would prefer, if we go that route, to have an attorney letter in the file so that they can see why we did it
For the audit,
for
yes.
the audit.
That seems like an easy fix, right? You're just saying all we have to do is have an attorney letter in with it being voluntary in the file?
If that's what you'd like, if that's what the council would like me to do, and that's the direction that the council would like to go, I'd be happy to do that, yes.
I would think I obviously wasn't here during budgets, but I would think that if it was agreement with the judges, that I believe, in my opinion, I'm sure Mr. Webb would agree from what he just said or how he just talked, that would be a direction we'd want to go.
I'd support that.
For those council members who were not here, and if you didn't attend the budget meetings, the judges did voluntarily give up, I think it was a total of 10,000.
It was 4 of the judges gave up half of their stipend. And then because we had a new judge coming in, they moved that stipend because that new judge isn't entitled to the stipend. They moved that into a separate line. So the judges that are the stipends that are in question are the 4 judges that gave up half, which was a total of 10,000.
Circuits 2, 3, 4, and 5 voluntarily gave up a portion of their county designated stipend.
And it was, what happened after that?
Nothing. I don't.
We just adjusted our budget
That was a part
accordingly.
of-
It's been
And
done with that money at this point.
No, we've been holding it because there
I
was
just
this
haven't
question.
spent it yet. I've just paid myself out of my main line, the full amount until we decided what we were doing with the stipends.
right.
Because I didn't want to touch the stipends and if you guys didn't want me to use them.
So I don't, just so it's clear, I don't think you're going to offend the judges if you move forward with how things were previously appropriated. That was by agreement. The only question has been put forward by the State Board of Accounts. At this point, it's just a question because nobody has an answer for it. So I'm not going to say that you're doing anything in violation of Indiana law because I don't know, because there is no law on this point. If it were to come down, it would come down later. So at this point, it's just primarily and purely an agreement between those 4 circuit court judges and the county council to get creative in moving that money around so that Emily's salary could be increased.
Donna, you were a part of all this conversation when we were working on this during the budget hearing. I don't think we missed any part of that discussion right now, did we?
No, this was brought up at our auditor school.
Okay.
Another county had started the conversation, so I asked the question, and they said, you can't do that. Well, we did it. Been looking into it, and I got in touch with Emily. What I got out of it is, like he said, there's no really law that covers us, but they can come back and make us give the judges back that help.
Now, the response I got,
I don't know.
Yeah.
the response I got from the State Board of Accounts attorney said that if they were to audit that and they saw that they would just ask for explanation. And that came from the attorney Leatherman, Kay Leatherman, whatever.
Depends on who you talk to.
Sure, there's
Exactly.
been a
I
lot of
mean-
emails back and forth and a lot of communication, so, and there hasn't been a super clear answer.
Nobody's giving
Because
it,
clearly we
because
must-
nobody's done this.
Right,
Right.
so, so is it the pleasure of the council that we have Ben write that letter?
I vote yes on that.
I do as well.
I don't know that you need to take any formal action. This is just following your previous budget that you passed. So
I guess I should say I agree to that instead of vote.
Do you
So-
agree?
It wasn't meant to vote.
You
as a
agree?
vote.
Yeah, I support
Okay,
it.
so that's what we'll do then.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to request all of the supporting documents, the faxes, their emails,
Sure.
et cetera, so we can put on record any emails.
from the State Board of Accounts
Yes.
attorney, is that what you're?
Anything related to this topic. Okay.
We'll get that to you. All right, so we'll move back to, or hop back to Rick's resolution. So I don't know if we've all had a chance to read it over. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, this is a boilerplate from the election division. That resolution number would have to be corrected to a current resolution
Yes,
number.
Denise,
but-
what would that number be?
Well, I didn't bring mine up because there wasn't anything on the agenda, so we'll just skip a few and just say 2023-005.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to,
Madam-
yes,
Can we have this read for the record,
sure. Read out loud?
please?
Yeah, absolutely, I can do that. Resolution 2023-003, a resolution approving the designation of Delaware County.
Five.
Sorry, 5. I can't even read my own writing, so I have a computer. A resolution approving the designation of Delaware County as a vote center county, whereas Indiana Code 3-11-18, period 1 allows counties to adopt the vote center model, and whereas the County Council of Delaware County approves the designation of Delaware County as a vote center county, and whereas the County Election Board has the responsibility for properly drafting a vote center plan for Delaware County, which will take effect upon unanimous vote of the County Election Board and having the plan as properly filed with the Indiana Election Division. Be it resolved by the Delaware County Council of Delaware County that Delaware County is approved to operate as a vote center county upon the required approval and filing of the county vote center plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve resolution 2023-005.
Second.
Motion by Eugene, second by Bill. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Lasser.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Wyatt.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other department heads, elected officials?
May I speak?
Yeah, you're an elected official.
Okay. I appreciate that. So this being the, this is our first council meeting of the year, and majority of the council is all new folks, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 years with serving with each and every one of these council members up here. As you are all aware, we're all Republicans, and sometimes, unfortunately, that can lead to some tricky situations. And I hate to even bring this up, but I feel like I have a duty to do so. As us all being Republicans, there's a gray opportunity there for people to meet and refer it as something else. And without going into a lot of details, many people are aware that there was a meeting amongst a lot of people up here, and I wasn't included in that, which is perfectly fine if nothing is discussed. Who knows if anything was discussed? I don't know. I wasn't there. But I've been contacted by people who voted for everybody, including myself, and expressing some frustration. I feel like their voices was silenced with my exclusion in that meeting. And for those people, I want to apologize for that. I also want to give an explanation as far as my vote on the board and committee appointments. I think every single person who was chosen for those board and committee appointments are more than qualified. And I hope none of you take in any negative consideration of my no vote. My no vote was strictly because I believe I was left out of the discussion, and that's why I had to vote no. Again, this is just my opinion, and I just want to caution everyone that we are an elected council entirely, and legally, maybe, but ethically, transparently, I think it wasn't a good decision. So I just want to say for the record, moving forward, any meetings with the entirety of the council, for one, should include me, and number two, should be on record. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to speak another word about it. I'm not going to go into more details about it. I just felt it needed to be said. So thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. Any other elected officials or department heads? All right, moving on, public comment. Denise, did we have anyone sign up? Oh, okay.
Gary, could you look and see if there's anything on that sheet for me? Okay.
None? Okay.
Thank you.
Don't have any emails. All right, nothing on Facebook. So our next meeting is Tuesday, February 28th at 9 a.m. Same time, same place. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wait a minute. Are we not allowing public comment?
There was none.
No, we don't have no public. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say that. I'm sorry.
There were none
Apologies.
today. So, all right, so we had a second
So
from
moved again.
Bill. Bill, was that you?
Yes.
Or Eugene? All right, motion by Dan, second by Eugene, all, motion, excuse me, goodness, roll call, please.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Cantz,
Yes.
Lassiter,
Everybody stay safe.
We will.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Wyatt,
Yes.
Mr. Flanagan,
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
Yes. All right, thank you.